What's crack-a-lackin', everybody? Money Smart Guy Matt Sapaula here. Hailing to you today from on the road, Orange County, California. And here with me today, fellow first-generation cash flow millionaire based out of Houston, Texas, imported from El Salvador, Rodolfo Vargas. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing great, Matt. And I'm glad that you're on the road because that means that we're everywhere right now. And today we're gonna have a very, very special podcast today. We have the one and only Carlos Medrano. And guess what? Carlos has so many good stories because Carlos goes a long way from the beginning when the company got started, when I got started, and when he was so close to Patrick. You're going to hear from him background in real estate, killing it right now in the company. So we cannot wait to hear from Carlos Medrano, Matt.
And Carlos actually sells the dream of our system because there's a guy that he ended up recruiting who's blowing it up right now on the East Coast. And guess what Carlos is doing? Override, baby.
That's
override.
Right.
And so we're going to be talking about inflation, rising cost. Matter of fact, I just drove by a gas station, $7 for gas here in California, Orange County, in Costa Mesa. We're going to talk about a specific article that was in the Wall Street Journal that just blew our mind away because what is the Wall Street Journal doing talking about life insurance and annuities? Well, we discussed that and we'll unpack that today. And we're going to do a super special fire. We're going to get to know Carlos Medrano today. And for those of you who asks questions on our live chat. If you have a question and we answer it, we have a giveaway, 3 $50 gift cards to Starbucks today if we answer your question. So we're going to get fired up here.
Good question.
Yeah. Good question. We're going to go good question. So we're going to get started here in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Rodolfo, could you please do the honors in introducing our special guest today, featuring one of our superstar field leaders rising up here in California?
Absolutely. Super excited to hear. By the way, everybody's going to be blown away by his story because Carlos has a very good story because he knows the company and the business since the beginning. He was a very successful real estate. He's going to tell you that story about the real estate, but so he can give us the perspective about how real estate people, mortgage people get into the insurance. He's running a successful business in California and also in Maryland. His team is called New Era. That's the name of the team. And he's a family guy. And also he promoted, I believe, his son to official broker in the company. So him and his wife, phenomenal people. So Carlos, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for that introduction, Matt. Thank you for that introduction as well. And Mr. Rodolfo Vargas, thank you for that introduction. And I appreciate being with you on this podcast and having some quick dialogue. As I'm excited to be here with you and talk about some stories on how level up in the company. I know we were talking cars earlier. We're going to talk a little bit about a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, of course, man. So Carlos, tell us how you got involved in the business. What were you doing before PHP?
Got it. So I'll tell you my story background wise and how I got started in the business world. I remember taking a class, and I know I'm gonna age myself, right? In a class in high school, we had a class called economics. A lot of us have it. Some of us take it, some of us don't. But in economics, I had a teacher talked about supply and demand, talking about cost of money, all these different things. The only thing that caught my eye, she says, Carlos, if you could think of a product or a service before someone needs it or wants it, you could become very wealthy. She said that. I remember that. I was like, oh, that's crazy. You know what? I want to be a business owner. I want to be exactly what she's saying. I'm going to go think of a product. So first I started thinking my little mind. Remember, I think I was 17, 18 years old. I'm starting to think, what does everybody need? What does everybody want? I was, you know what? Everybody wants food. I'm going to open up a McDonald's. So here I am, 18 years old, right after school. I go walk to the McDonald's. And for some of you guys living in Los Angeles on Nordhoff and Van Nuys, and I go, hey, I asked the manager, hey, how do I own a McDonald's? And the guy said, you got to call our franchise phone number. So on the wall this is before internet, everything was popular like that. You had to call the phone number and make a phone call. I called McDonald's Corporation and they said, Mr. Carlos Medrano, you're interested in owning one of our franchises. We're going to send you a packet. I got a pack in the mail a few weeks later. I was super excited. I said, Mr. Carlos Medrano. First time I ever said Mr. in front of my name. And the crazy part is I opened it up, I read it, and it said prerequisite. So remember, I haven't even gone to college yet, but prerequisite for some of you guys that have been to university college, it means you need to have this. So in big black bold writing at the top, it says you need to have $1 million cash. And remember, this is what it said. It can't be borrowed. It can't be you and your friend. It can't be you and your credit cards. It's got to be $1 million in your pocket. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I'll figure out a way to save it. Then it said in big black bold writing, it says you need to have experience in running a restaurant, being a manager. It even had college experience that you needed to have. So guess what? For me, I was like, what? I was like, I can't, even if I had $10 million in the bank, Matt, they would not sell me a McDonald's corporation.
You should have a college degree.
Have
Biased, man. Come on.
So I was crushed. I was like, man, what the hell am I going to do? I thought McDonald's was a way for me to make money. Then long story short, I went to go pay my beeper. For some of you guys who know what a beeper is, it's a way we communicate. I even had to buy one. I'm gonna show it to you. I had to buy one of these on Amazon. Right? I had to buy one of these. This is a beeper, right?
Wait, you didn't even have a clear case. You had a clear case showing the battery.
I know, right? Clear case. So what I did is I went to go pay this bad boy because they would send you a message, hey, your payment is due. I went to go pay it, and that's when the little light bulb in my head went up and said, why don't I open up one of these of my own? I asked the guy, hey, how does it work for me to own one of these? He said, it's too much money. I asked him 3 different times. He didn't want to tell me. So I said, I'm going to figure it out. Long story short, 6 months later, we graduated high school. I opened up my first business 6 months after that, and I opened up a beeper and cell phone company. Isn't that crazy? And this is what I thought. All my friends have it. Businesses have it. So the way we communicate, I want to be a part of the telecommunication world. God did his part. He put me around the right people. And 6 months later, I opened up my first office. I signed the lease. I had no idea what I was signing. But the realtor, I'm like, oh, yeah, I know about this. I know about this. I played my way into it. A year in the business was very slow like anything else. Then, out of nowhere, our business started growing because word of mouth. Word of mouth started.
By the way, Carlos, I gotta ask you something, bro. You know that $19.99 activation fee?
Yeah.
Is that BS?
So this is how it would work. We would pay $1 to $2 for that service. That $19.99 is just something we added on top of it.
Okay. I've always wondered that, man. I've always wondered.
So from there, cell phones started becoming popular. Our business evolved a little bit. Cell phones started becoming more popular. But everywhere you would go during that time, you would go to the mall. There were cell phone locations everywhere. I'm talking about it was saturated. And I said, man, I got to start doing something else. This is not going to cut it. We had 2 offices. I was like a yo-yo. I would go to one office. It would make money, but the other one wouldn't. So I have to go to the other one. Then I would go to my office in Granada Hills. Granada Hills would make money. And then I have to go to my Panorama City. It was like a yo-yo. So I told myself, man, I got to do something else. And one of my clients' friends, Grace is a friend of my wife. Her dad walks in and says, Carlos, I'm excited. I'm going to venture into a new industry. He says, I'm going to start doing real estate. And I said, really? How does it work? He said, well, you get paid a percentage. It was very vague, but he was excited. I said, you know what? I'm going to start doing real estate. I have a friend who has sold 40 Nextel phones, the little chirp phones back in the day. Yep, I sold 40 phones. Let me call him. He says, Carlos, his name is Patrick Tafoya. He says, Carlos, get your license. You can come work for me. That's all he said. He didn't tell me where to get it. I said, okay, let me figure it out. Long story short, 6 months later, got my license, got into real estate part-time. My first year was very crummy. Man, I got to tell you, my first year, I made $15,000. If I worked at McDonald's, I would have made more money. But every year I understood. Yeah. Every year I understood in real estate that my income would gradually go up. I went from 15.
How old were you? How old are you at that time?
21 years old.
You're 21 years old starting real estate.
Yep. 21 years old, started real estate.
What year?
That's a good question. You figure this was 2000. So 99, I started my business. This was 3 years later. So you figure 2000, 2001, 2002. Got it. 2001, 2002. Got my license that year, made 15,000, only sold one house. I was the worst realtor in the world because everyone's making a ton of money. But little by little, I got better at my craft. Second year, I made over 65,000. Then I did 150, 340, 560, and I made $1.2 million in 2007. My highest income year, I'm like, man, this is going to be golden forever. But no one ever told me that the economy crashes every 8 to 10 years. No one. Like, this is like if it was a secret, someone really hid it from me. Then the economy crashed in 2008, 2009. And I got to tell you, I was living the life without having a mentor, a coach like we have now. I had a Bentley, a Rolls Royce, a Lamborghini. And not like, you know how you buy one year, you buy one. No, I bought them back to back. I was the worst at saving money. I just wasn't that guy. I came from a humble family. We really didn't know about money. So when this crash happened, I said, you know what? I have money saved, but that went in 12 months. It was gone. So I seen the writing on the wall. I said, man, I got to figure this thing out. I got to do something else. And I stuck to real estate because remember, when you're in real estate, we usually have big egos. We like to stick to something and we don't like to tell people we need help. Like it's just crazy, that industry. So when one of my mentors during that time, he was a little bit older, more mature than me, says, Carlos, this time real estate is not going to get back like it was before. It's going to take 5 to 10 years before we see anything or any traction. 6 months later, everything he told me started coming into play. I said, man, I got to do something else. I had my check cashing business during that time. I met a guy named Carlos Townsend. And during that time, I said, you know what? I want to get into the money industry. I want to get into Wall Street. I was always interested in how money worked. I met a guy named Carlos Townsend that he introduced me to a guy named Marlon McKinney. Marlon McKinney introduced me to a guy named Patrick Bet-David. And Pat came to the office that we were in. He said, this is what I can do. This is what I've done in the past. And I was like, man, this guy's very see-through. This guy's a see-through type of person. And I said, I want to be a part of this organization. In 2009, 66 crazy of us decided to tag along with Patrick, and we started PHP Agency. But I started, right, with Patrick because all I wanted to do is make $1,500 extra. That was my goal. I wanted to make $1,500 extra because my wife kept on saying, Carlos, we got to send our kids to college. I mean, to private school. And I was like, I turned out okay. But one day I went to go pick up my son and kids were cussing, using words I don't even use. Using words like I don't even use. And I said, you know what? You're right. It's time for us to do something. And obviously you guys know the story now. I started from $1,500. Last month, the company paid us over $50,000. Co-owners of the company. Like we're nowhere closer we want to be, right? We're nowhere closer we want to be, but we got that edge. We got that edge that we want to make sure our future is bright, and we're continuing to be here with our agency.
Tell us about your family now, because I know that your son Angel, right?
What's so crazy, right? You're right, Rodolfo. So what's so crazy?
Have you heard this or no? Listen to this, Matt. This is important. Go ahead.
Yeah. What's so crazy is that my son Angel Medrano was in the original Northridge office here around the corner from where we're at. The original Northridge office. He'd be going to Pat's office, and then Pat would be like, hey, you got to get out of the office. He would go in everyone's office. He'd be there seeing the So he's seen the evolution of us being broke.
How old was he?
Oh man, he was probably like 7, 8 years old. Like he was still a young buck. So he's seen the evolution. We went with us on trips to go to Hawaii multiple times. So you've seen the evolution. So when he decided when he graduated from college, when he graduated from high school, he's like, oh, so what do you want to do? What do you want to be an entrepreneur? Do you want to go to school? He said, Dad, I want to go to school. He went to Oregon State, became the president there. I said, when you go to school, make sure you meet a lot of people because that's going to get you to level up. And I sent, and our CEO wrote a book. I think he wrote a book during that time, or YouTube, how to drop out of college. I sent it to him right away. So he knew why he was going there, but he's seen us grow in the company. He's seen us from scratch. Obviously, he has his own identity. Angel and Naomi. Naomi Niarco is his fiance in the business. She's a stud at years and a meter, but they ended up becoming brokers of the company and now co-owners of the company because they seen not me, because I'm a piece of it, but they seen like a Rodolfo. They seen a Matt Sapaula. They seen a Jose Gaitan or coaches when they started from the beginning, and they seen the type of income that he makes. And he was on one of our national calls saying, we got paid over $11,000. That's double our income, both combined. So it's crazy to see how sometimes your family, if they're around, right, they got to be around, because kids will never listen to us directly. And I know that for a fact. My son, yes, we do tell him certain things, but he needs to hear from a Patrick. He needs to hear from a Rodolfo or a Matt Sapaula. Same thing that I said, but it comes from somebody else's mouth. They pay closer attention. But I'm very, very excited about their future. They have a lot of people on their team that they're growing up. And we have a family business. Not only is my son in the business, my wife's sister, my wife's Jane Lopez, my wife's brother, Jose Lopez, from the military background. So we're very family oriented, and we're looking to build a solid family business because, when you have a ring, everybody wants one. So I was like, hey, we got to be a part of the industry, right? But the family business.
We're going to do a contest to see which family has the most marketing records.
Yeah, I like that.
Matt has his daughter.
We'll see. That's right.
And I have I have my brother, right? You have my brother doing the business. Yeah. We're going to see which family has the most MDs or ring earners. How about that conversation? How about
My mother's got her watch.
Oh, that's
So my mother's
right.
got
Your
There you
my
go.
mother's got a watch.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're ahead. Yeah,
Yeah, and
And you gotta
she
think
just
of it
took
like
my
this.
way.
Yeah, you gotta think of it like this. I've seen these family businesses, like here in California, we have In-N-Out, we have Tommy's, these family businesses that they don't sell. They keep the money within the family. And I say, why not? Why? When people say, oh, you can't work with family, I've never thought that way.
Mm.
Our culture has been very close and we all help out, but everyone has a different role. I think when you have a family business, even like our teams, we all have our role. We have our flag carrier, right? We have the person that's that's relationship, just wants to help. So I think if everybody finds their niche and what they want to do, it's you can build some incredible family business here in our industry.
Carlos, I got a two-part question. I want to circle back to your previous career in real estate. Two-part question, because I think it's very important for what's going on right now. Because a lot of realtors, a lot of loan officers, a lot of real estate attorneys, a lot of processors, a lot of title officers, they think everything is kind of, we're going to push through this. What's the biggest difference? Because one of my most watched videos on my 7 Figure Squad YouTube channel is why I chose insurance versus real estate. And this was in Orange County. This is 1999, 2000. So kind of like this around the same area. What's the big difference that you see in generating revenue as an insurance agent versus what you had to do to generate revenue as a real estate agent?
Okay, I'll start off first on the real estate side. So in case we have realtors on there, let me tell you, you guys do something great. I love being a part of the industry where someone gets a house, you give them keys. Some people, it's an American dream for them. So kudos to you. So for me, I love that part. I love the helping people part. Then I found out how you made income. And I was like, oh man, I can make 7 figures, up to 7 figures, start at 6 figures. So the income part that I started generating, I love that part. Then I started bringing people to the industry, meaning I became a broker in that industry. Then I said, you know what, why don't you guys work for us? So I had started having my friends, some family members got started in the industry. So I love the part where I'm able to teach someone how to go fish. So I love that part. So we got started, they started part-time with us and they started making money. That to me interested me a lot. And for me, it was great. The only issue was going back to now what the negative part was, we really didn't have any coaches. When you get your license in real estate, there's no one really helping your hand. Your broker is there, but he just collects a check, 10%, 20%, 30%. Your broker is there, but there's no real mentorship when it comes to real estate. So for me, if we had the mentors we have here, they would have told me to save a lot of my money. I should live below my means. There's certain things that in mortgage real estate, you're not taught. So most of us have big egos. So even if someone would have came to me and would have told me, hey, Carlos, you should do X, Y, Z, I might have not have listened because they were in the same industry as I was. But what I caught was I can make income, right? I could be in an industry where I can work with family. And I love that part. So when I transitioned into finances, into the Wall Street and where we're at now, when I transitioned, it was very similar, but there was a huge difference. And I mean huge difference. So in real estate, if I sold 10 homes, I would make, let's say I made 10,000 per home. That's the amount of money that I would make. Every year after that, I have to sell 10 homes again, 10 homes again, 10 homes again, 10 homes again. And when I met Patrick, he says, Carlos, do you want to be 65 years old showing homes? 69 years old showing homes? Do you want to be that old and still having to show a house? Or do you want a lifestyle? And I said, Pat, you know what I'm going to say? I want a lifestyle. He's like, this is the world where you can get paid over and over and over to help a client one time, and you're getting paid over and over and over. So to me, that attracted me, the residual part that real estate does not have. Real estate doesn't have a residual part. That to me, I was like, this is amazing. You mean I can have a residual? And the second part to it is there's always the number game. A realtor always wants the highest compensation. I want the highest. Once you get age, I want 99%. I want 99% if possible. So what I saw in our world, if you're in a building brokerage model like we have, I can go all the way to 108%. The company's going to pay me 108% from all the production that we did, over 214,000 in production. That's over 100%. In real estate, it doesn't exist. In real estate, yes, there is 100%. But here, I'm getting paid over 108%, not including the bonuses that the insurance companies gave us. So once I saw that, I said, you know what? Being 65, 69 years old, whatever the age is, it's pretty nice when you're getting checks that you worked for 15 years ago. And I said, you know what? That for me is a real business. Yep. That's a franchise system that I wanted to own when I was 18, 19 years old. So for me, the difference is it's black and white. Yes, you can make money. It's a great industry. You can make money there. You can help people. But at the same time, if you want to build a business, not a Carlos Medrano only, you want to build a real business that's transferable, that you can sell it down the road. That's how finance is. Our world, PHP Agency, is where somebody can come in, sell their code at one day. And I know, Matt, you have that story of buying a code. That's beautiful.
Yep.
That's beautiful. That's someone having an exit strategy of down the road, they want to go to Tahiti and just, I don't know, retire.
Yeah, the real estate business that I own, because I wasn't a realtor, I was a real estate investor. And I had two of my 4-unit buildings. I did a deed in lieu of foreclosure during 07, 08, because I just didn't know. You're right. I didn't know what to do. Here I am killing an insurance business, and everybody's getting involved in a real estate game. Like, I should get in a real estate game too as well. I didn't have a coach or mentor in the insurance side of things. So the same parallel where a lot of people don't have mentors in your typical real estate brokerage. The same thing too with typical insurance brokerages, because I didn't have a mentor. And I was diversifying my money into 2 different outlets. Anyway, make a long story short, I was going through a challenge, like, oh my gosh, I just lost my real estate deal. And I went to a Citibank, and I completely forgot about a bank account I just had for one insurance carrier that would provide that residual income. I was like, what? I said, look at my bank account. I don't even know what I have in there. It's like $50, $100, bro. $25,000 for residual income there that accumulated over like 5-6 months, right? From all the insurance business. I said, whose bank account is this? Yours. I said, no way. I said, I want to see the straps right now. Give me some bills. And next thing you know, give us 30 minutes. I came back, 25 straps, 25 stacks right there. And I'm like, put it back.
You're so right. You're so right. I had a practice company that I started before here, and I'm still getting checks from, I don't even know the companies. I just know once a year they send me checks. I don't even know who the clients were. I'm still getting checks. So that's a difference of industries. And remember, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying real estate's bad. I love real estate. As an investor, buy property, all that stuff. Go do your thing. But long term, I'm a long-term thinker, not short-term. I know short-term, there's money to be made, but the industry evolves and changes. And you got to think about it like this. How long is it going to be before a realtor is going to be replaced? Just think of it. There's companies that are lowering to sell a property, instead of being 6%, they're charging 2%. Eventually, that number is going to go lower and lower and lower. And the business is going to evolve. So there's got to be an exit strategy for a lot of people in that industry.
I have a question because to you, Carlos, because what's interesting about your story is you did real estate from 2000 to 2001, 2000 to 2008 or 9, correct?
9.
8, 9. So you saw there was something happening over there in real estate in 2008, 2009. You made your 7 figures. So right now we see a new 2008, 2009. You know what I mean? We see another
You're right.
crash in the market. So what do you see right now going on right now?
So I'll tell you, this is some people, because they weren't a part of the industry. They think that it was in 2009 that all these things happened. They think 2009 is when the economy crashed. Let me tell you a secret. In 2006, there was a bank called New Century that went out of business. Out of nowhere. We're talking about like October, around that time frame. I just bought my $1 million home, and I said, you know what? They went out of business. Cool. There's going to be others that replace them. Then the banks send everybody a message saying, hey, we're not doing 100% loans anymore. And this is where someone can get a loan with no money down. You had a 700 FICO. They stopped it. So I said, okay, cool, 5%. Then December came around, it slowed down. January came around, the banks didn't even have guidelines. January, February, March, big banks started going out of business. IndyMac closed down. We had so many banks closing down. So the real time that the real estate industry got a hit was in late 2006, December. To December, things started slowing down. 2007, 8, 9, that's when the hurricanes started coming. But remember, right now, houses, and I'm just going to be specific here in Los Angeles, California, they reached their peak. Right now, we live in a house here in North Hills. It's probably worth $900,000. Rodolfo, you know where North Hills is at. It's kind of close to the office. There's no way the house is worth $900,000. We're just talking about the truth. 700 max, right? Max at a good time, being all remodeled. So during this time, what happens is because inventory is low, it's supply and demand. Same thing I learned in economics. Because supply is low, that's what's happening. But when interest rates go up, and that's what happened in 2007, 8, 9, they reset, interest rate went to 6%. Guess what happened? People can't afford a house. So this is what I want you to understand very carefully. This is an aha moment. This is what realtors are going to tell you. Because remember, a realtor's job is to sell you a house anytime. They say you got to buy a house when the interest rates are low, 4%, 3%, whatever it is, right? So even if you pay a little bit more for the house, you'll buy an $800,000 house for the same payment that you will buy a house for $600,000. Let's just say same payment, but this is the difference. See, interest rates go up and down every so many years, meaning I can refinance. I rather buy a house, right? Now you got to think of this. I'd rather buy a house instead of paying $800,000. I'd rather pay $600,000, have the same payment, okay, the same payment, but I have equity over $200,000 because in the next 4 or 5 years, guess where it's going to go? Right back up. So when people tell me you got to buy now because interest low, that's not correct. I'm an investor. I'm a guy that's been around where I understand how homes work. The market's going to go up, then the market's going to go down. I'm the patient guy. I'm the guy that Patrick taught to be patient. Good sales are coming. We're talking about cars. It's going to be a sale on cars. That's why I got to buy the right ones. It's going to be on sale on many things. So that's when you buy, especially that you're here, all our PHP people that are making money with us, I'm patiently waiting. There's going to be a downturn. It's coming. I've seen houses plateau in our area, meaning they're not, now they're saying people are like, oh, there's more opportunity to buy because there isn't an overbidding, but there's a reason why, because when interest rates go up, that means everything stops, meaning banks don't loosen money up anymore. And you know this, Matt. I mean, I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir here.
For sure, yeah.
What's going to happen is our industry, it's going to level up in a big way, because this is when the biggest guys are going to get recruited into our industry. Look at one of the biggest legs. I was in mortgage and real estate. We have my coaches, Jose Marley Gaitan was in real estate. The biggest guys are going to be recruited right now, but there's different ways to go at them. I think, Matt, you have a great way of going at them. I'm never going to say, hey, you're in the wrong industry, because they're not. They're just in an industry where it doesn't have a cycle, meaning there's no residual. That means they got to work forever. Unless they save half their money, which is very hard to do, unless they save half their money, it's hard to create a lifestyle in the industry. It's just very difficult. Long term. Short term, yes, all day. Short term, all day. That was me. I was buying things I couldn't afford. Eventually, what is it? With the flood, when the flood goes down, you will be able to see who really has really solid business.
Yeah, when the tide goes down, you're going to see who's been swimming naked. So Carl, I want to ask you this question about the system, because, you know, the unique thing about our system in the insurance industry, we have a network marketing style compensation system, and we can see clients across the country. We can have teams across the country. I mean, Rodolfo's not Puerto Rican, but he's got a major Puerto Rican influence, right? He's got teams all over the United States too as well. So you recruit a guy by the name of Dr. Saeed Daibes, who we featured on the podcast before. Mm-hmm. And he just made I think $60,000 last month.
He did,
which you override, which you override his business. So explain to the person that, like, why does a guy that you recruit make $60,000? You still override me. He's on the opposite side of the country. Can you explain to us why that's such a beneficial thing for you, as compared to having a real estate business where you got to be real estate licensed in every state and got to take an exam in every state? The difference of expanding and growing an insurance business is a lot easier.
It's very complex. When it's in mortgage and real estate, you're trying to go in different states. It's very complex. And I'll tell you how we got to meet Dr. Saeed Daibes. And I got Saeed Daibes, such a great guy. You've seen this podcast, you'll be able to see it. He's on one of our podcasts. I remember meeting him. I was at a Christian convention. I had a gentleman say, hey, can you do me a favor? I want to go to Milwaukee. I think it was Minnesota, one of those places with the M, and do a presentation for 300 pastors. And I said, well, I'm all for it. Let's go. And during that transition, I met Dr. Saeed Daibes, and he says, oh, I represent that company. And I said, which one? National Light Group. I said, oh, beautiful. You represent National Light Group. You're licensed. I said, what happens, Dr. Saeed, if one of your clients doesn't get approved with National Light Group? What do you do with that client? He says, what do you mean? Have you ever had a client get declined? What do you do with them? He says, I can't do nothing with them. I said, look at all these different companies you have here. If one doesn't approve them, I got this company. And if this company, I have this company. Once we had that quick conversation, he says, Carlos, we got to talk. I said, let's have dinner tonight. He was my cheapest date. I think I spent $12 on his hamburger. But right instantly that day, he got started the next morning, because I was like, look, you to sleep on it tonight. I know you're excited about what we're going to do next, but I want you to sleep on. I sent him the 2 videos. He watched them. He says, I'm all in. And just a reminder, he's not direct to me. He's direct to one of my brokers named Rita Rodriguez. So now, comparing to mortgage and real estate, in mortgage and real estate, there's no 50-50, 10%, 10%. There's none of that stuff. So meaning your broker doesn't have a direct influence for you to go fly out somewhere and go and help and service like an agent like Dr. Said. So Rita Rodriguez is direct to Said Ibis. So it's not even me. It's direct to Said. So Rita, I'm gonna make her the story, right? Rita's still building. Don't get me wrong. Rita Rodriguez is still building, but she's eventually gonna say, hey, in 10 years, I want to retire. And she's gonna have an override commission. And Said doesn't want to do something small in the company. He's looking for $1 million income. That's $50,000 to $75,000 every single year off one leg that she's gonna get paid off for the rest of her career with our company. And that's the difference. There's no small splits in real estate. I've never heard of a split, meaning 50-50. I've never heard of that. It's either you work it or you don't. So that's a big difference. And rules and guidelines, mortgage has tightened up like crazy. Look, in our world, in insurance, all of us know I pay $50. I'm licensed in Texas. Isn't that crazy? On Zoom, I'm helping our place. So it's evolved. It's a big difference what's happening with our industry.
So I want to shift gears here real quick. I just want to encourage you, those who are watching this, make sure you, if you would like to participate in receiving a $50 gift card to Starbucks, drop a question in the comment section below. Excuse me, drop a question in a live chat, and we like to answer your question if you have one. In the meantime, if you haven't done so already, make sure you like our video here to make sure the algorithms get triggered to make sure we send this to many people in their feeds on YouTube, as well as making sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel here at PHP Agency. So a lot of people here, Straight Adoya, New Era, Fires, Miriam Rivera's dropping comments, Tanya Cooper, Mane Montaño, Adrian Banuelos, a lot of comments here in the live chat. So Rodolfo, I'm wondering if you can, from your end, if you have the Wall Street Journal article. I didn't ask you this beforehand. I'm probably putting you on the spot right now.
I have it, but I need to stand up. I have it. I can pull it over here. I can share it if you want to.
Yeah. So we like to talk about a article that just got shared in the Wall Street Journal. Now, if you guys don't know the Wall Street Journal, they're pretty much a Wall Street stock market type guided publication, respected publication. But they wrote this article. This is not an ad. They wrote a complete 3-page article explaining annuities. Rodolfo, can you go and share it? Yeah.
Just give me a second because of
no problem.
I'm gonna show it in a different way. I have it. Give me a second, okay? Give me a second.
No and for way. Everybody that's out there, think about this: $250 billion of money last year went into index annuities. Last year, $250 billion went into insurance. Here's why: when times are good, Carlos, I'm not sure if you agree with me and provide some color on this, if you may. But a lot of stocks that when times are good, people buy stocks, people buy real estate, people buy crypto, sports cards. When times are good, they buy NFTs. When times are good, but when times are tough, when times are bad, people buy life insurance. In this case, people buy annuities.
So Matt, can you see it now?
So right.
Yeah. So here, and here you go. This is in the Wall Street Journal, everybody. This is not an ad. This is an actual article written by Lori Ianu a couple of days ago. And if you can zoom in a little, I don't know if you can zoom in that sentence right underneath the picture. It said it's a mix of insurance and investment. Annuities come in several types. Not everyone understands them. Let me just share with you something. I'm sorry, Rodolfo?
No, go ahead. I wanted to read the number that it says how many people put their money, how much money was put into annuities.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, can you read it? Over there it says that last year, $255 billion were put into annuities. You want to know a quick fact? I don't know if you know this, but if you and I were to count from one to 1,000, how long would it every time you count 1, 2, 3, 4, every time we count, it takes us 1 second. You know how long it would take us to count to 1,000? Give me a number.
1,000. What's 1,000? 1,000 divided by 60. What is that?
I'm going to tell you the first one. 12 minutes. 12 minutes.
Okay.
It's about 12 minutes. So if you and I, we count to 1,000, it will take us about 12 minutes. Now, to count to 1,000,000, how long does it take us to count to 1,000,000?
Here we go. How long?
How long? Huh? Anyway,
5 years?
No, to 1,000,000. To 1,000,000. Just 1, 2, 3. Let's Google it. I'm gonna Google it.
A few days?
Huh? No.
A few days?
How long to count to 1,000,000?
Okay.
You ready? 12 days.
Oh, got it.
Okay, there it is. There it is.
12 days. So in order to count, but don't Google the next one, okay? So if you and I, we count to 1,000,000, like if you were to spend $1 per second and you have $1 million, it will take you 12 days to spend $1 every second. Okay, but don't Google it, Matt. You're Googling it. Don't Google it. Okay. Second, okay, that is 1,000,000. Now, how long would it take us to count to 1 billion?
Billion.
Give me a number.
Since I Googled it, I can't answer it.
Oh my gosh.
But it's shocking though. I can't believe it though. Holy moly.
Okay, post it up. By the way, people who are not Googling it, post it over there in the comment. How long would it take us to count to 1 billion? If 1,000,000 is 12 days, how long, Carlos, would you say a billion?
So 1,000,000 is 12 days, and there's gonna be 909. I mean, we're looking at, I said 5 years last time. So
5 years? Okay. You ready? 32 years.
Wow.
32 years.
Billion.
For 1 billion.
So I'm gonna share right now in right now. But so 1 billion, right? It takes us 32 years. So here is the trillion. How long would it take us to count to 1,000,000,000,000?
Here we go, bro.
Give me a number.
So if that's 12 years, so
Google
you figure a bill count to 1 billion is 12 years. So 1 trillion is 1,000 billion.
So how long?
122 with that. That's like what, 1,000 years? 1,000, no, actually longer.
No. How long?
Keep going.
So you ready?
It's a long time. Drop it.
32,000 years.
Wow.
So now, guys, 1 billion is 32 years. Like if you and I look, and they were $255 billion put into annuities. It's a big number. You know how we use the trillion, now we use billions and trillions like it's nothing, right? Hey, there's $1 trillion that was inflation or whatever. $1 trillion was printed like it's nothing. Guys, $1 trillion is a lot of money. But let me keep sharing.
Guys, and just so everybody in PHP knows, to PHP family, last month in May, we did 25 million last month. That's how much money is moving.
Wow.
That's how much moving. Safety, security. So when you're looking at this, go to the second page, if you could, Rodolfo.
I messed up this in a second. I'm gonna do one more time, okay?
No problem. We have a saying in financial services. Okay, we have a saying in financial services. Never put a client's money in something that you wouldn't trust your own mother's money in, that you wouldn't trust your own grandmother's, that you wouldn't trust the people that you love and care about, their money in there. Okay, because if you feel confident that your own blood and family could put the money in there, then it's something you can share to your clients. So when my mother was my first client with annuities, or maybe the second or third client with annuities, this is 2000. My mother was thinking about retiring as a nurse. She hadn't retired yet, but she had 5 different 401ks from one hospital because the hospital kept getting bought out. And every time they got bought out, 5 different 401k plans. So I consolidated the 401k plans into one IRA, which was funded by a index annuity. And then next thing you know, the dot-com bubble hit. And then 08, 09, Great Recession hit. And then the pandemic hit. And then the flash crash happened that year. Guess how much money my mother has lost in any given moment in those index annuities? Here's a number, 0.
0. Yeah.
And that's why people fly. Now, is it for all your money? Of course not. But for the money that you know needs to be there, right? For money that needs to be there, this may be an appropriate and suitable financial product for them, of which PHP offers. So in the second paragraph, it says here.
There you go.
Yeah. So Rodolfo, you want to read that? The second quote, the second paragraph there.
So it's up 16% or at this part. Well, in the first quarter of 2022, U.S. annuity sales total $64 billion, an increase of 4% So in the first quarter, we have saw 4% more than compared to last year. But here's what Matt is talking about. Annuities fill the void for people who are more risk adverse in today's marketplace, says that a registered advisor, certified planner. The variable market has made these products a fixed income alternative. Some people, however, buy annuities without really understanding, and they tell the story. But the point is this, guys, the market might crash. I'm not saying might because I'm not supposed to say the market will crash. You know what I mean? I'm not supposed to, nobody's supposed to say stuff like that. But this is an annuity will protect your money against losses.
Yep.
It will protect it. So you want to know what it's, go ahead, man.
Yeah. So at the bottom paragraph, so why should somebody put their money here? Well, these products appeal, that last product there, Rodolfo, the last paragraph. The products appeal to people looking to supplement their retirement income, preserve their principal, and diversify their portfolios. They can also be tailored to fit your financial needs. For example, you can add riders to guaranteed income for life with or without inflation protection, and to ensure your heirs receive something from an annuity should you die. Think about this real quick. When's the last time you saw Wall Street Journal educating people on why you should buy a stock? When's the last time we saw Wall Street Journal sharing an article why you should buy CDs or options? It's assumed that people that read that magazine or that read that newspaper already know how stocks benefit them. But it's amazing how they think that a lot of their readers don't know how life insurance products, such as the annuities, work. And that's why they took a 3-page article to educate. I don't know what motivated them to do this, but wow, I'm blown away that they've done this. So when my mother has confidence in knowing that she's not lost any money, guess what she can worry more about? Her grandkids, taking care of my dad, the best things in life. What Carlos Medrano was talking about earlier, lifestyle. My mother turned 77 years old yesterday. And guess who she's talking to this about? Everybody else. Rodolfo, did you want to break down the different annuities that is available in the marketplace?
Yeah, especially I wanted to read this one, but let me go back. Okay, so the details about the fixed annuity. The insurance company promises you a minimum rate of interest and a fixed amount of periodic payments. These products provide guaranteed payout and are regulated by a state insurance commission. Meaning, a fixed annuity is similar to the bank. You have a fixed interest that you can get. Now, variable, these products allow you to direct annuity payments to defer different investment options, such as mutual funds and exchange traded funds. So it's attached to a mutual fund. The payout you get depends on many factors, including how much you put in, the rate of returns of the investment you choose, and the expenses of the current contract. Okay, Securities Exchange, the SEC has to do with it. Okay, now we have the index.
By PHP, we do not touch variable annuities because you need to become securities licensed. So we don't touch that because not only we're not securities licensed, but also to the client, it's got a lot of direct ups and downs that a lot of our clientele does not know how to tolerate.
And then over here, explain what is an index annuity. The insurance company credits you the return that is based on the performance on the stock market index, such as S&P 500. That's great. But here's what I wanted to read. What annuity variations have become popular? And this is for everybody listening. And this is what I will explain to some of the clients. Watch this. Fixed index annuity. This is cross between fixed income annuity and variable annuity. So it's in the middle one. It offers some degree of principal protection against market downturns by promising a fixed interest rate return over a certain period, as well as linked to an index. If the index is positive, the investor is credited with a percentage of his return based on his or her participation rate. And here it goes. Here it goes. Here's the phrase that I've been telling people.
Here we go.
Index is negative. If the index is negative, the investor loses no money.
No money.
That's it.
That's it.
Go ahead.
That's
But
it.
imagine, you go to my casino. Have you been in casino, Rodolfo? I take you to my casino right now. In my casino, Carlos, my casino, you can bring as much money as you want. You want to bring 100,000, $1,000, $1 million, $10 million, you come to my casino. Okay? Casino Rodolfo. You play in this casino, you can play the entire night. The entire week you can play. You bring $100,000. You play. If you lose at the end of the week, if you lose money, I give you back $100,000.
Where do we sign up? Where do we sign up?
That's it.
If you win, I give you a percentage of your winning. Let's just say, for example, I give you 50%. So if you bring 100,000 and you win another 100,000, I give you 50,000. So I'll give you 150,000. Would you play in that casino?
All day.
Because I don't have to risk losing my gains or what I originally started with.
That's correct.
That's why I played. Some people say, well, I want the other 50,000 that you took away, Rodolfo. Well, that's what variable does. And that's what PHP does not dabble with.
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
I learned something. I learned something when I got in the industry about something called realized gains. I met a gentleman that was worth deca millions. He says, Carlos, I only do business with realized gains. I go, what do you mean by that? He says, if I have $100,000 and I make 10%, that 10% is locked in, which would be $10,000. Those are realized gains. Once I learned that word, I was like, you know what? I was like, you're so right. I go, that's what we do. When an annuity gets set up, the client makes 10% on 100,000. That's $10,000. Next year, the market drops, the client gets zero. Those $10,000 are locked in. That's a realized gain. And this is what happens with a lot of people. The market's been going up for many years, and I call it fake money. It is what it is. I say, yeah, you have $400,000 on paper, but it only is $400,000 until you liquidate that asset. So that $400,000 isn't real until you liquidate that asset, because 401ks, IRAs, anything that's in the market isn't a realized gain. It's a temporary gain until you liquidate that asset. So for me, it's a big word that I learned. Once I learned that word, I taught everyone. Realized gains. Does your portfolio offer you realized gains? And that's what a lot of people can't say yes, but we can with the index annuity.
Yeah, for the realtors out there, are you selling a product that has realized gains or is only paper gains because the equity in the house is more than what it was last year? That's a paper gain.
Yep.
Right. It's not realized until they either sell it or refinance it.
Yep.
That's the only way there's the only way you can touch your equity, unless you another one, line of credit.
Yeah. And a lot of old school people say, I have my house, and I get it. I was there. I had many houses when the market dropped, but when the market drops, bank change guidelines. They're not going right now. The guidelines have loosened up and money's a little bit more accessible. But when the market shifts, guidelines change and people can't access that 20-30% of equity they had. So it hurts them in the long run if they're in that type of game.
Yeah, I remember during the real estate bubble, like you were talking about earlier, that we had in the marketplace ninja loans, right? NINJA.
Yes.
Income, no income, no job approved.
That's all right.
Right. But we talk about the guidelines. Well, now it's like, you need to put 10%, 20% down.
Yeah.
Some of these are FHA, 3% down. You got to put something down. The only no money down program left in America today is, for all the veterans, is the VA loan. That's it.
Yes, the VA loan. You're right.
So
I have a lot of friends still in the industry, and this isn't just going to real estate. We're talking about people in the mortgage world, people that are loan officers, people that are in what is title, anyone in construction. When the market takes a shift, it's for everybody. Right now, I got a new static couple on a new couple on our team, Adrian Banuelos and Lizette Banuelos. They did over $70,000+ in production. They're about to become marketing directors this month. And he came from the construction world, and he's seen the writing on the wall. He contacted me because he's seen the success we've been having that we stuck out to. And he's like, Carlos, I'm in. I want to do something. And now they're having crazy success in our company. And they came from the construction world. They still have their construction business, but they know long term, for them to double up and go where they want to go, they need to have an exit strategy or a place where they can make income like we're doing now.
I want to ask this one question, make this one point before we go into questions. There's some good questions here in the live chat. One thing I realized there too as well, when a lot of people were looking, for that context, is do you want to build, for those of you thinking about building an insurance business or adding an insurance business, right? Another vertical, another horizontal to your offerings. Do you want to approach this opportunity? Rodolfo just mentioned earlier, $255 billion, $250 billion of annuities was moved last year, and more is going to be moved this year. We're in the era of the great transfer, right? In the global economy is transferring wealth from one generation to another. It's happening in the trillions of dollars, not in the billions, in the trillions of dollars. But do you want to approach this market in $1 billion market, $1 billion market, or $1 trillion market? Do you want to approach it with a 5-man operation? You want to approach this with a 10-man operation? You want to approach it with a 25-man operation, or do you want to approach it with a massive organization from coast to coast that when the sun hits the East Coast, you make money? See, Carlos, when the sun hits the East Coast, he makes money.
So true.
Right. Rodolfo, when it hits Puerto Rico, before he hits the East Coast, Rodolfo, when it hits Puerto Rico, Rodolfo makes money. He's not even up yet, right? And it as the sun continues to pass through the United States of America, you're making money because you got agents across the United States of America making money. That's our model. That's our system. So I'm gonna shift over to questions. This one's from Miriam Rivera for Carlos, for you, Carlos. With all the different industries that you were in, what is a common denominator that led you not to quit and still keep your family to follow you with faith and no negative talk?
Got it. So I gotta be truthful with you guys. I am just not built the way a lot of people are built. I don't. The quitting doesn't. It's not a word to me. I know Patrick says, he told me, I was like, I think maybe you might have told me, but it went out one year, went out the other. I always say that. But for me, I would just build different. I know long-term things always work. And don't get me wrong, I'm not the type of guys that say, I'm going to go play basketball and I'm going to be the best basketball player. That's, of course, I got to be also realistic and unrealistic. But I know how a game works. Eventually, iron sharpens iron. If I'm around Matt enough, if I'm around Rodolfo enough, if I'm around any of the brokers that are some of your offices, if you're around them enough, you're going to catch it, that edge that you're looking for. So for me, I'm not the fastest, I'm not the quickest, but I know one thing that I learned from our CEO, everyone can get caught. Everyone has a season. So I know my season was coming up. And this is our season. This is our season for us to catch up to the big dogs that have been running the company for a long time. And it's not to say that it's a bad thing. No, I pay homage to them. It's kind of like I'm big on sports. I love the Dodgers. If you ever watch Kirk Gibson hit a home run, you're like, there's certain things that we pay homage to them, but we're next. Everyone has a season. So for the gentleman that asked that question, the word give up, quit it's not in my vocabulary. I just give it time. And I never tell people take my example. I'm just saying I'm a example. And I remember a guy, what's this guy's name? He was at the practice company. He went with us on a boat somewhere with Patrick. And this guy told me a story about he became a marketing director in 9 years. How does it take you that long? It's crazy, right? But it took him 9 years to become a marketing director. They used to call him Mr. Cap. You probably know him, Matt Sapaula. Cap. Yeah. So he told me a story about him using a payphone. Long story short, he became a marketing director at a company and he overrides like 35% of the company. This guy's traveled around the world going with his family. And I was like, man, this guy's it took him longer. He's like, don't use my example, but just don't quit. And eventually the fairy dust will hit you. Eventually you'll get the shock that you need to make sure you level up. So for that guy, just don't quit, man. And as long as you keep on getting the edge, improving, reading the books, you'll get there. Remember, all ducks turn into eagles at some point, as long as you're around other eagles. That's my advice.
That was Miriam Rivera. Make sure, Miriam, you email Tigran at PHP Agency to claim your $50 gift card for Starbucks from PHP Agency. Okay, yeah, congratulations.
Matt, Miriam is how you call it, a long, she's a legit listener of the podcast.
Is she? Cool. Good job.
Yeah. She won the $50 gift card.
She's consistent. She cares for people. She wants to see people succeed. When you have a person like Miriam Rivera and she celebrates other people's success as if it's her own, that's high character, man. I love people like that.
Hey, we're gonna do at the end. Don't forget that at the end we're gonna do some shout outs to some people at the end.
Yep, that's right. But Rodolfo, this is a question for you. Okay. Because I know you brought in a very influential guy in real estate in Houston. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Starate Todoya asks, how do I approach a new real estate agent with coming on board to consider doing business with PHP?
I also like to hear the perspective from Carlos on this one because, but I'm telling you this. Every time I'm talking to real estate agents, I go to the same message of passive and residual income. Okay, passive and residual income. So we talk about, there are 3 different types of incomes that somebody can have. Personal income, right? It's the personal sales that we make. Personal sales is you can make money selling anything. We can make money selling insurance. You can make money selling homes. You can make money doing mortgages. You can make money selling books. You can make money doing Amazon. You can make money by the personal sales, which is great. Secondly, is passive income. what is passive income? There is a difference between passive and residual. Passive is the percentage, you get a percentage of what your agents make, meaning, can you make passive income in real estate? Of course you can. Yes, by you becoming a broker, by you having agents. Many real estate people, they become brokers and they have agents. So the question when I talk to real estate, I say, how long would it take you to become a real estate broker? Do you need to get a different license? How much responsibility do you have? And do your agents leave you at a time that they want to become a broker? So in our company, we have something called generational override, and that is passive income. And I explained, not right now, right? But basically what I explained to them is when we are at a certain contract level and we have somebody who gets at the same contract level, we still override that person. So I explained that, and I explained the different generations that we get paid on passive income. Passive income is the percentage that you get paid based on the agents that you have. And also, I also explained that we don't need another license to get paid passive income. It's the same license. And we don't have to wait another 5 years or 3 years. Or you can start becoming, this is so crazy, man. This is what I really asked me this is one of the top real estate over here in Houston asked me this, Rodolfo, I like this thing about recruiting, man. I really like it about having my own agency. But let me ask you a question. When can I start recruiting? Can I start recruiting in 5 years from now? In 3? And I'm like, no, brother, we're going to start today. We're going to start today. So you don't have to wait. And that's something that people don't realize. In other industries, you have to wait certain type of time for you to start becoming a broker and having your own agency. And the third one, we talk about residual, that Carlos spoke about it, is about residual is, do you get paid on the sales that you make in the past? Do you get paid? Do you have a stream of income coming in? And by the way, you can do that in real estate, but if you become an investor and you rent a property, some people say, you know what? I'm worth $1 billion. I'm worth $100 million because I have this certain type of units and I get paid. In our company, not in a company, in the insurance industry, you have residual income is that you get paid from the sales that you make in the past. That's why you see so many insurance people that they do the business for 5, 10, 15 years and then they retire because they keep getting paid on the policies, thousands on top of policies that you keep getting paid. So I explained the 3 type of, and there is a fourth one. There is a fourth one that you can also talk to anybody, not only real estate agents. The fourth is the equity. The equity. We get paid on a form of equity. Last year, we get paid based on, we got dividends last year. So we have equity within the company. So that's the fourth way that you can also get paid within our company. Carlos, would you add anything on the?
Yep, I like that. I like the, I'm gonna use that. I like the passive income. So all those points are great. I would use all those points. 2 things I use with realtors, depending how much income they're making, if they're brand new, you gotta look at all that. But I look at partnerships with them in the beginning. I want to partner up with mortgage and real estate people because most of the time, depending on their income, they usually have big egos. They don't like to be told what to do. So I want to fill them out. You want to fill out how coachable they are and what kind of income they make. But one thing I do with them, I say partnership. I say, imagine today, if I would ask you, you've been in the industry for 10 years, how many homes or how many mortgage or how many construction homes have you built? Like, give me the number. They'll throw a number, 100, 200, 300, $400,000. You know, the more value you bring to the market, the more valuable you become. What I mean by it is you're already collecting a lot of this information when you sell a house. You collect you collect a 1003, you collect all their assets, how much money they have in the bank, 401k, insurance. You collect all this information that's on that sheet already. Why don't you bring more value to your clients? Meaning, and I go into my story. I say, do you know my mom came from El Salvador? My dad came from Mexico. They met here in America. How they got together, I don't know, because Mexicans and Salvadorians at the time had a feud. It was like, I think it was soccer.
That's why you're a champion.
I think it was soccer. I think it was soccer during that time. They met in America. They got advice. Come work, save money, start a business, buy a house. Exactly in that order, that's how it happened. 15 years come around. My parents had a business. They had a catering business. One day to another, we get a knock at the door. My cousin walks in. My dad passes away. From one day to another. He wasn't sick. From one day to another, our family evolution changed, meaning the breadwinner of the house is no longer there. This happened in 1994. In 94, we had an earthquake here in Northridge. We lived in Panorama City. Okay, it's not in Northridge. We were so close to the epicenter, the value of our house went down. We tried selling our house. We couldn't do it. We almost lost it. In 1995, almost a year and a half later, 1995, there was money being taken out of my mom's account every single month. My mom, remember, didn't know how to read or write in English because she came from El Salvador, and basically that's her main language. So she would ask me, can you read this bank statement to me why we're missing money? I said, Mom, I have no idea. I don't know how to read a bank statement. I'm 16 and change years old. We go to the bank. They tell my mom, you have 4 life insurance companies taking money out of your account every single month. And my mom only spoke to one teller because that one teller is the only one that spoke Spanish. So we would wait in line. You know, that couple that waits in line, or those people that wait in line for that one teller? That was my mom. Long story short, she told my mom, call those phone numbers and find out maybe your husband was on them. My mom calls. First one, no. Second one, you know what? Is your husband named Antonio Hernandez Medrano? Yes, he's on this policy. She calls the other ones. My dad was on 2 life insurance policies. In 95, this is a year and a half later. 2 weeks later, we got 2 checks of $100,000 with interest. Because that one person knocked on our door, said, hey, let me help you get coverage. Completely changed our family tree. We kept the house. We kept the house that my mom had bought. And with that life insurance money, I was able to go to school like a regular kid, because I would miss school on Fridays, because on Fridays I would go with my mom to go sell food. And it was crazy, but I've seen the good and I've seen the bad that happens. So for your clientele, Mr. Realtor, this is what you're able to do for them. You're able to have that house paid off free and clear and have a family like us now to have another $200,000 of income. And guess what my mom wanted to do right off the bat when she got that money? She wanted to buy another house. That's how you can bring value to your clients, by protecting the assets that they've worked so hard to get. I tell my story and I say, this is what we can do. I show the income just like you, Rodolfo, start showing the income, and I show them how they can bring more value by partnering up with our company. Because some of these guys have big egos. I had a big ego. Until you go broke, you're not going to listen to anybody. So I say, let me help you. Let me tell you how I started gradually. And now your company has an extra value, and compared to another mortgage or real estate company that only sells a house, now you have a client that you're able to help out 100% by keeping their house. And that's the conversations that we usually have. But I like what you said about what you said in the beginning, passive income. That's awesome.
So straight Bedoya, make sure you email Tigran at phpagency.com to get your $50 gift card. Get some Starbucks on PHP for being a listener to PHP. So
and reminder, just in case, this goes for real estate. This goes for people in the construction world. Anybody that's going to be in the construction, real estate, home improve, anything to do with that, their markets, it's going to take a huge shift. They're not going to see it from today till tomorrow, but in the next 6 to 24 months, there's going to be a crazy overturn on people being laid off. Look at a Tesla. They're really laying people off already.
I'm looking for it. That's what happens. That's what's happening. So, Carlos, man, we really appreciate you being a guest on this podcast. We've been talking to you for hours and hours, but make sure, if you haven't done so already, Carlos, can you mention everybody how to contact you on
Definitely. So my Instagram handle's Medrano, my last name New Era. I know on our podcast, I think they're going to fix it. It has all those old information, but Medrano New Era, you can go ahead and link us through there. And then if you guys have any other questions afterwards, you can always send me messages. I get messages all the time from different people with different organizations. And, Matt Sapaula, great organization. He's evolved our company. Rodolfo, the future. You guys have done such great things for the company, for us to evolve. I'm also an owner of our company. Anything that I can do to help the evaluation of the company, we're all here.
100%. Appreciate you, Carlos. Rodolfo, any final thoughts as we wrap up today's podcast?
Yes. I mean, go read the article. What's the journal? Go read it. I'm telling you, go and investigate. Go and learn about these annuity things. What is this annuity? How can I protect my money? If you're listening to the podcast for the first time, go and contact somebody. Get in contact with us. We're looking for people. We're looking for new players. And I believe that the new players are about to come. I want to give some shout outs to some people, Matt. If 1 minute,
sure. Please do.
Just got lunch with Jorge and Rosa. This is a new marketing directors over here in Bryan College Station over here in Texas. Congratulations on becoming an MDs. Some shout outs to the new EVPs over here in Houston, Marcelo and Gabi. The new VP Rene and Dalila and David and Sandra Vera. Rene and Dalila is over here in the north side of Houston, in the Woodlands area, and David and Sandra in Orlando and Puerto Rico. I want to give some shout outs to Jose Rodriguez, who became an executive marketing director. Just some names. I just had some lunch with another couple over here, Diana and Jamie, over here in the spring. Yesterday, well, you know, when we need to talk the next week. Yesterday, we took 30 of our guys. We reserved the studio movie grill, and we watched Top Gun together.
Oh, great movie, yeah.
Yes.
So we need to talk about that next week so we can share some ideas about the movie. Phenomenal movie for everybody to watch it. So those are the shout-outs that I have. And Matt, I give you the last thoughts.
For sure. I'm excited about this era. I'm excited about the next 6, 12, 18, 24, 36 months, this chunk of time, because I believe, because I've seen it before. I've seen it in 01, 02, and I saw it in 08, 09. I've been doing this now for 23 years. I've seen this happen in the past, and I was unaware what to do with it. The first time I had it, because I had no coaches, no mentors. The second time it happened, I had some money in savings. I was starting to flip money and just make money rain, but I only had a small team of 10, 15 people. But now I know what I'm doing. Now I make my money. We've saved a lot of money. We know how to hack things. We were talking about hacking before everybody jumped out. We know how to hack cars. We know how to hack credit cards. We know how to hack credit lines. We know how to hack a lot of things, because that's what we know how to hack our savings and investments. We know how to hack we know how to get rich through our life insurance policies. And that's been building and accumulating for me for deployment for a time such as this. And if you say, Matt, in the next 5 to 10 years, what's the greatest opportunity? Because I don't think that what's about to happen in the next 6, 12, 18, 24, 36 months will probably never happen in my working lifetime ever again. I just don't think it's going to happen. That's why I'm doing everything I can right now to capitalize. And our CEO is always talking about right now, what can you do, if you're watching this, to add another zero to your net worth? To add another zero to your net worth. Because right now you can make it in this era a lot sooner, a lot faster than any other times. Because when people are in fear, when people are in confusion, the weird part, they come to the insurance industry. They come to its products, its career path. We've proven that through the pandemic, through the lockdowns, that we are an essential business. If monkeypox takes off or something, another COVID-55 takes off, we've proven that we know the playbook. We've proven that we can thrive when times are tough. And we've proven that we're an essential business. And on top of that, we're not dependent upon supply chains in China. Our product is homegrown. Our product is made right here in America. We already have a digital asset, which is money based on insurance policies we do business when we create wealth. I just got off the phone with the CPA and a law firm. They're talking about how to save a lot of the clients' money, and one of the solutions, insurance. Even law firms and CPA firms are talking how to save their clients' money, and the answer is insurance. The sad part about what this conversation is, as Rodolfo just mentioned, we don't have enough people in the industry to do it. We don't have the work is plenty, but the laborers are few. And just like the Marines, we're looking for a few good men and women that want to take up this cause, to take up this calling, and say, you know what? I want a career that I can bank on, that can control my time, my schedule, my income. I can rise above inflation. I mean, look at the gas down the street, man. Crazy. I'm here in California. If you don't want to be touched with inflation anymore and bunk that stuff, consider an industry that you can rise above and control your income. Because we joke about becoming a millionaire. Oh, it must be nice to be a millionaire. No, we're coming to an era right now where it's going to be a dime a dozen. Before, like, oh my gosh, you make 100,000. Next thing you know, everybody's making $100,000. Same thing's going to happen too with making 7 figures. And we want you to make that sooner versus later. So that being said, if you haven't done so already, please, in the comment section, please put your biggest takeaway in the comment section. But let us know what you want to hear for next week, episode 49. And what would you like for us to do to celebrate 52 weeks of us, the 52nd episode, our anniversary of Rodolfo and I doing this for one full year of the PHP Agency Podcast. So Rodolfo, good hanging with you again today, brother. Carlos, so glad to have you on as a special guest today.
Thank you for having me.
Continue the momentum, brother. Continue to rise, man.
We will.
We're competing with you, but at the same time, we're also cheering you on. You know how it goes.
Thank you.
Yeah, and your team too. Hats off and salute to New Era. That being said, guys, go out there and do your part to change the world by first starting by changing yours. That being said, go out, help everybody. Until we meet again, continue to live smart, continue to help people, continue to love people, and continue to change your life today. Bye-bye, everybody. We'll see you next Wednesday.